One of the greatest challenges a lot of high achievers experience is managing stress and burnout. Hello, my name is Jamila Idris and welcome to my channel. Successful high achievers are executives, entrepreneurs, or emerging leaders who are constantly working to improve themselves and live out their potential. And then this translates in their net worth or the results they are able to create at the end of the day. Now, this comes at a cost for a lot of people who are unable to manage it. And for many, while they are working on that idea, on that venture, on that job, taking care of that role, what happens is that they become fixated on this particular aspect of their life that they ignore every other thing. And this leads to an imbalance. With this imbalance or this misalignment comes stress and burnout. So burnout for a lot of people is something that comes from the inside. Some people will tell you, oh, you're feeling tired, and all they get to do is splurge. They go on to buy things, to maybe go to the spa and get a massage and all of that. But basically what really can help you with your burnout is going back to the basics. What are those things that are important to you? What are those things you have been ignoring? What are those values you are living out of integrity of? So for you to be able to cure your burnout, you need to begin to live in alignment and harmony. You need to have a vision that pulls you into achieving it rather than having a goal that you keep pushing toward. This helps you with is that you find the most productive ways of going about achieving that vision if it is something that you are being pulled towards rather than something you are pushing toward. And to get this, you need to create an alignment. An alignment is created when your vision, your values, and your actions all connect with each other, are all in sync. Where there is a misalignment is where you begin to experience stress or burnout. I like to say that our desires in life comes from what God has already written for us. So you cannot have desire for something that has not even been written for you. The only problem now comes from we wanting it at our own time and in our own way, or the method that we choose. And when we do this in our own way, and at our own time, what happens is that we begin to resist the original design of God, and this begins to cause stress. So stress isn't so much about what is happening on the outside, the work that we're doing on the outside. Rather, it is more about the resistance we are feeling on the inside, all those baggages we are carrying that weighs down on our energy. And at the end of the day, we are fighting so many battles that we have no business fighting, and we feel exhausted that we are unable to do those important things we need to do that moves the needle forward in helping us achieve our goals or create that vision that we are aiming at. So one of the ways that this manifests, or you get to experience this, is when you experience the need for perfection. You want everything to be perfect. Now, I cringe when I hear people say I am a perfectionist, because I used to also call myself that. And I realized it's not so much about perfectionism, because perfection only belongs to God. As humans, we are very, very flawed. And if you're waiting for perfection, you'd either never get to do anything, or you'd never get to finish anything, or you'd never get to put anything out there. The main thing is that you make the most of what you have currently. You make the most of what you have right now. And that could be the little that you work with until it becomes big. For some people, because they have a $1 billion dream, and maybe they have only few thousand of naira or 100,000 naira or something, it feels like that dream is out of reach, or that vision is out of reach, rather than them, starting from where they are and grow to that $1 billion vision. They want everything to be perfect, everything to be available for them, for everything to be, in place for them to be able to take action. And this leads a lot of people to stagnation. They're unable to do the things they're supposed to do. The design of God, we are supposed to have a lot of Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and all these remarkable people doing amazing things in the world. But because for a lot of people, we are not able to take that first step. We are not able to have this big vision. We don't even allow ourselves to dream big enough, right? So we don't have this big vision that we work towards. Rather, we are setting goals that, constrains us and just makes us work. And then we get to a breaking point that we're unable to move forward and we just lose hope. Now, the first thing, like I mentioned, is perfectionism. The second thing is fear of failure. Now, for a lot of people, they don't get to take a chance on themselves because they are scared of failing. Again, as high achievers, failure is on different level. So when people who are just starting their careers think about failure, it's not as detrimental as it is for high achievers. So this becomes a huge challenge in the sense that it threatens everything they have built, or everything you have built, in the sense that it threatens everything you have built. So the fear of failure just keeps you, stuck, and it slows down your growth. But I would like to implore you, change that mindset. Rather than seeing failure as something that is futile, rather see it as a stepping stone to help you achieve that thing you want. Like Edison said, when he was creating the light bulb and he failed over 900 times, he said he learned over 900 ways of not doing it. So we need to, be very committed to that thing we are doing and see every setback as a step forward into helping us achieve it. So they say it's either you fail or you grow. No, rather, it is said that failure is something that helps you to move forward. So when you fail forward, you learn from that failure and you get to do it better the next time. If you fail after the first attempt, you'll never get good at it. Everybody that is doing amazing things in the world had to experience failure in one way, shape, or form. If you attach your identity to your ability to create results, what happens is that you're unable to pick yourself up after a setback. So it is very important that you embrace failure and know that everything is happening for your good. Everything is going to add up at the end of the day. Now, the third thing is imposter syndrome. So one thing I have noticed with some of my amazing clients is that when they bring their CVs, you'll see that they've done amazing things. They have done remarkable things, but then there's still this self-doubt. There's still this feeling of them being a fraud, feeling like somebody is going to discover them as not being who they say they are. And this never goes away, right? This never goes away. But the main thing is that you are confident in your ability to do what you say you're going to do. Sometimes you won't feel that way, but if you constantly live in people shaming you or people finding you out, what happens is that you're going to be putting yourself under a lot of stress, and this at the end of the day will affect the way you show up. So sometimes don't be so hard on yourself. If you fail or you make a mistake, you laugh at yourself even before people laugh at you, and you just move forward from there. It is not a death sentence, it's just something that happens. It shows that you're a human. Again, you are not perfect. Stop putting those high standards on yourself. Another thing that causes stress is the high demands and expectations we have of people. Now, these demands and expectations put people on a pedestal that they can't even live up to, because it was something that was created by us. And then when they don't live up to those expectations, we feel hurt and we put ourselves through undue stress. Now, what you need to do is to understand the capacity of the people around you. Do they have the capacity to care for you or to do things at a certain level? If they don't, you just let them be. Rather than trying to make people do things for you, you meet them at their level and see if there is an opportunity for them to grow and get better. If not, you move on. And this applies to intimate relationships, to your employees. There is a time in your career where you employ for heart, and then there is a time where you employ for talent. So it is very important that you know what that is and work with people who will help you, put the right measures in place to ensure that you are bringing in the right people into your life, and you are not compromising yourself or setting yourself up for stress and burnout. Lastly, time management. Often, when people talk about time management, what I hear is energy management or task management, because our time is static. But what really determines the value of our time is how we are able to maximize the time we have, because everybody has 24 hours, 7 days a week, and 335 days or 36 days a year. Now, it all comes down to what you're able to do. For some people, they are able to achieve a lot in 24 hours that some other people would take months or even years to achieve. And when it comes to the concept of time management, there are two types of time: the Kairos time and the Chronos time. So Kairos time is more about quality, it's more about opportunity and what you use your time for, how you're able to maximize the time that you have, rather than the Kairos time, which is the chronological time, your normal time that you measure with your clock or the date on the calendar. As high achievers, it is important for you to maximize your Kairos time. That is the quality of time you give to every activity. So you don't have to spend the whole 8 hours working. You can decide to do deep work for 4 hours, which of course is supported by the book by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Week, where he talks about having 4 hours you literally work in a week and you making time for other things in your life. So your time is, as a high achiever, as a successful high achiever, you have a lot of demands for your time. It is important that you schedule or break your time. It is important that you have a schedule that supports all the activities you engage in, so that you can incorporate other self-care practices and you incorporate spending time on your hobby, your family, friends, and time in rest, rejuvenation, and to recharge. Because if you're not actively doing this, what happens is that your body will give in and you would experience physical manifestation of distress, which would also limit your ability to get work done, and it will also be a source of frustration at the end of the day. So all you need to do is to focus on how you can do deep work, how you can limit the time you spend on work, while you apportion other parts of your time for things that helps you to feel alive, things that helps you to really, really live and not just exist. For a lot of people, their life is centered around work. For a lot of people, their life is centered around work. You want a situation where you have a hobby you're constantly and actively working towards. Either it is playing golf or polo or chess or any other thing that just keeps your heart pumping as much as possible, that you find excitement in, and then you create time to spend with loved ones. One thing that is also missing in the lives of successful high achievers is a good support system. And a lot of people talk about how lonely it is at the top when we created that reality for ourselves, because in the process of building, you cut every other person off. You're so focused on work that you don't make time to nurture your relationships. So when you get up there, what happens is that you have lost all your important relationships. It is not a case of people not aligning with your success or finding it difficult to relate with you as a successful person. Rather, it is your attitude in the process of building that success. So you don't want a situation where you build and you spend so much time investing in your work or your business that you ignore yourself and the important people in your life, because when you now need them, they won't be there. And you don't want a situation where it feels like you're buying relationships with money, because that is now all you have. So when it comes to managing stress and avoiding burnout, it is important that you pay attention to those conversations you're having with yourself, those stories you're telling yourself about either perfectionism, imposter syndrome, or your fear of failure, and very importantly, how you're able to manage your time.